You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of BadAss Showdown, a series where I take two characters from different series and face them off against each other to determine who is the bigger badass. As always, that is not necessarily determined by who would win in a fight, but rather who is more badass. However, who will win in a fight will be mentioned and factored in. That said, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject. We're going to be talking about two different Nazi cyborgs. That's right, Nazi cyborgs. So, the two Nazi cyborgs we're going to be talking about today are Rudolf von Stroheim from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 Battle Tendency, and Munchausen II from Urotsuki Doji 2, 3, and 4. Now, obviously, with these characters being literal Nazis from World War II, there are some connotations behind them, but this is fiction, people. They're not real, so fucking deal with it. We'll start off with the case for Stroheim, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So, Stroheim is more badass because he's much more honorable. Unlike Munchausen, Stroheim is a much more likable and identifiable character. Yes, he works for the German army of World War II. That's pretty apparent. However, he still has a very good sense of honor. And when he sees a bigger threat than his enemies at the time, he's willing to team up with people who were his original enemies in order to help them defeat a bigger threat. That bigger threat obviously being the Pillarmen, who were much more of a threat to humanity than any side of the war could have possibly been. Stroheim was a proud and honorable man, and gave up his original body in order to defeat Santana and save Joseph. He's also instrumental in helping Joseph defeat Kars in the final battle. Stroheim does not play dirty, and ultimately he has respect for his opponents. He's also just overall one of my favorite characters of Part 2. There's just something so charming about it. Like, yes, he is very unapologetically proud of who he is and what he does, but there's just a weird kind of charm about that. Like, obviously I'm saying within the context of fiction, there can be a such thing as making it just kind of so over-the-top ridiculous that it's, like, hard to hate. It's kind of like Richthofen in Call of Duty Zombies. Like, they play it up so much that it's such a ridiculous and overplayed thing that it's very charming to the character. And again, just because of how good-hearted Stroheim seems, it's hard to hate the guy, despite everything. Obviously, he was working for a very evil force, but ultimately, he's a good guy in the series, and that's an interesting thing about him. But that is the case for Rudolf von Stroheim. Alright, now we're on to the case for Munchausen. Now, Munchausen, also known as Munchausen, is the son of the original Munchausen. What makes Munchausen more badass is, well, frankly, he's more powerful. He's able to manipulate demon lords and use them to his own advantage. He's able to manipulate Takeyaki and get him to face off against Nagumo. Munchausen is pure evil. He's manipulative, sadistic, and overall just kind of bad. But that also has, like I said, a certain charm to it. Before everyone took everything so seriously, Nazis were just kind of the go-to bad guy you could put in something to be fun. Again, it's something that you can't really do anymore because everyone thinks there's some sort of political symbolism, and I fucking hate that. Because Nazis used to be the ones we could agree were the universal bad guys we could put into things to be the bad guys, because what's more identifiable as bad than fucking mass genocide? But people had to twist it and try to change the meaning, and now we don't do that as much anymore. But Munchausen is a good example of when that was the go-to bad guy. When you could do it right. You could make them entertaining, fun to watch, and just pure evil. They are good villains. Munchausen also looks cooler. His cyborg parts are much more menacing and creepy, and there's just a certain air of mystery around him. He would easily demolish Stroheim in a fight just due to his mystical abilities, his super strength, and his regeneration that he gets in Part 4. But yeah, that is the case for Munchausen. And now, on to the verdict. I'm going to be perfectly blunt and straightforward and honest here. This is an easy call. Not all of them have to be tough choices. I just thought they were similar enough thematically to face them off. I already knew full well going into this video that Stroheim was going to be the winner. There was no way in hell Munchausen is more badass than Stroheim. It's just not physically possible. Would he win in a fight? Yes. But Stroheim could hold his own against some of the Pillarmen, so maybe he had his chance too. Stroheim is on a whole other level than Munchausen. Munchausen can't even fucking compare. Like, yes, Munchausen is easily one of my favorite Urotsuki Doji villains. He's interesting and entertaining to watch. But Stroheim is fucking likable, he's cool, he's honorable, he's ridiculously proud of what he does despite being a seemingly good-hearted man. He has definitely made me understand the worth of German science. But in all seriousness, Stroheim is the bigger badass. There's no questioning that. And I apologize that this one wasn't necessarily as close, but I thought, maybe every once in a while it's okay to have one that's an easy decision. But yeah, Stroheim wins, hands down. See you next time.